This video is for players and narrators alike. This also isn't a Tola-specific video, so I'm sorry if that disappoints anybody, but I still hope that you will stick around. People don't typically ask how they can win at Dungeons & Dragons or other role-playing games, but that's the question I want to address. First, D&D isn't a video game. You already know this. You can do whatever you want, and that's probably why you love the game. I know that's why I do, literally. Funny story, the main attraction to D&D for me originally, which was way back in 2nd edition, let's not talk about my age there, was the unlimited and open aspect of the game. I'm going to date myself even worse when I say I got sick and tired of GoldenEye, where I couldn't just blow up whatever wall I wanted to, right? And then Halo 1 made it where there's rocks that you couldn't move out of the way with the Warthog, right? There's stuff in the environment of any video game that you simply cannot affect. And I wanted to get away from that, which is what really attracted me to D&D. Now, your RPG campaign doesn't have those limitations or the defined parameters of success, right? If you've got a good narrator, then you're adventuring around in an open world, and the bosses you fight are going to be determined by your choices. You can literally go anywhere and do anything. So with that being the case, how do you win? Well, there's 3 ways to win at any RPG, and I want to go through each one of those. The first one is through collaborative storytelling. No matter how your DM is, even the most lead-by-the-nose DM still needs your input for the game to move forward. So even if you're playing a pre-written adventure modules, what your character does shapes the story completely. 100 groups can play the same module and handle it 100 different ways. That's the whole beauty of the game, right? I've run the Sunless Citadel 3 or 4 times now, and every time it was a different experience. So it's the case. It's you, right? It's all about you and your group. You win D&D by crafting the greatest story possible with your narrator and fellow players. This is your story. So everyone at the table, I'll air quote table, right? Because that might mean a real table as you're all together, a virtual tabletop, or even some website where you do play by post. Everybody at the table is responsible for the story. We all have to work together to craft a beautiful and compelling narrative, which everyone was going to talk about for years to come, right? I still talk to my friends about the old D&D games that we played. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to admit here, this might have been a little bit of a clickbaity video title, but I really wanted to share this with you all because I really do feel like this is how we all win. Far too often we get focused on the next die roll, the next fight, the next level or cool magic item, and we forget that we're telling a story here. We're all working together to make up a story that only we could tell that's unique to ourselves. Each game session, spend a little bit of time thinking about the story you're making. How could you make it better? What would make a great twist? What would make you smile? What would make your friends feel awesome? And occasionally, this should be the exception rather than the rule, think about what would make you feel awesome. Remember, this game isn't entirely up to your narrator. Talk to them, share your ideas, make suggestions. The story you make is going to be epic. So let's circle back to what I said before about making your friends feel awesome. That brings us to point number 2 on how you win D&D. Personal vulnerability. Now, I don't want to talk to you and have this be a deepest emotion share where you're laid out on the couch. This is not a therapy session, right? I just want to talk to you about your personal vulnerability through your character. What I'm talking about is allowing your character to be less than perfect all the time. That might be difficult to think about. That might be frustrating for you. We've all played with that person who has to be the best, right? We've all played with the person that has to be untouchable and the most powerful being in the room. They're simply insufferable. Don't be that person, right? We've all played with them. Don't be them. Instead, allow your character to suck occasionally. Allow them to falter and fail. And hopefully that's going to be in a way that makes your friends shine and feel amazing. Unbeatable PCs are incredibly boring. Don't try to be that person. Be a little vulnerable. If you miss a shot, if you miss a sword swing, or if your spell goes awry by rolling the dreaded natural 1, then just own it. Own your failure. Steer into the skid. Once more into the breach, dear friends. Okay, the last one doesn't apply. Sorry. I got carried away there. When the 1 rolls up, don't try to mitigate it and explain away how like you just barely failed, right? Screw up spectacularly. Take it to the next step beyond just missing. Fall down, trip, face plant, unintentionally hug the monster. Maybe he just needed a hug and then he won't attack you anymore. Sorry. But the point is, be okay with being less than perfect. If you struggle with this, that's okay. Try to work through it. If you are the person who has to be the best, right? That you can't stand anytime your character fails, well, then think about that, reflect on that, and try this personal vulnerability because I think you'll like it. I guarantee that if you do this, it's going to make memorable moments. And it's also going to allow your friends to shine in those moments. In our Tolis game, recently Barash, who's this huge Dragonborn fighter, he is a scale-covered tank. He rolled a 1 after trying to do something cool. He leapt over a balcony and he charged forward to attack a skeleton. Okay, this is a 12th level fighter who is attacking a CR 1/3 creature. That's not even a CR 1, that's 1/3 of a challenge rating, right? And he rolled a natural 1. Rather than being prideful and annoying, he wrote a hilarious post about Barash falling down spectacularly, and we all really enjoyed it. He, for lack of a better phrase, he turned that Dragonborn frown upside down, right? That's what makes these moments memorable. There's going to be the amazing successes. That's always going to happen. But think about how to make amazing failures as well. And in those failures, if it freaks you out to fail, if you just hate it, think about how to push through that. Give it a shot. Try it a couple times. And then we're going to talk about number 3, which is the rule of cool. Normally we talk about the rule of cool in regard to allowing something to happen for dramatic cinematic value. Meaning there might not be a rule system for you to bounce off the wall, swing from the chandelier, and chop off the guy's head, right? The rule of cool is the concept of circumventing the rules in order to accomplish something really cool, really dramatic, really cinematic. But here I want to reinforce thinking about beyond yourself. Our world right now is so self-possessed and internally focused, it's hurting everybody. Forgive me for waxing philosophical here, but the point is, your group needs you, but you also need your group. Think about how to use the rule of cool to set up your friends as characters. Think how you can set up your narrator to do an alley-oop, right? Basically, what I'm trying to say is be less focused and work on your collaboration. Don't focus on yourself so much, right? Work on your collaboration. That takes us all the way back to number 1, collaborative storytelling. It's incredibly rewarding. I absolutely promise you. In the Barash example, he was self-deprecating, right? He turned a natural 1 into something really funny that allows other people to shine. Do the same in your game. Be vulnerable. Allow your character to mess up and be okay with it. You might fall down, you might take a little bit of damage, but it's going to weave together another patch in your group story, right? If it's a big quilt, then another patch inside of that. Nobody likes a perfect hero who has never made a mistake and has no flaws. That is literally the most boring character ever, right? Don't try to be that person. Because it's going to be boring, right? It probably frustrates the people around you. Think about that rule of cool. This is a story that you're all telling together. Think about how maybe you being a little less awesome in a moment can make one of your friends even more awesome. And think about how maybe you screwing up actually pushes the story forward, makes it interesting, right? Thanks for watching. Normally, I talk a lot about Tolis, which is the City by the Spire from Monty Cook Games. If you're interested in that, check out my unofficial Tolis website and our Tolis Focus Discord. Also, follow this channel, and you can check out some of the old videos that I've posted because I talk a lot about Tolis. I love Tolis. I've been running a campaign that's play-by-post in there since 2017. Do all the YouTube stuff that everybody tells you to do, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Now, go down into the comments and tell some stories. Just try to stop, collaborate, and listen. You might be too young to get that reference, but I'm getting old up there. Tell us in the comments about moments where you screwed up and it turned out to be awesome, right? Or that somebody else messed up and they failed forward, right? I've never talked about this before on this YouTube channel, but I just want to do a small shameless plug for both of my businesses. You've probably seen me wear t-shirts before that say Floating Axe Technologies. There's the banner behind me that says Ask Me About the Super, and in tiny letters down there it says Belt. These are both my companies. This is what I do for a living. This is what allows me to have the time to do YouTube videos. Floating Axe Technologies, we are a virtual digital marketing agency where we do everything from website design, content creation, social media management, paid ads, stuff like that. If that's something you have need of, the link is in the footer, floatingaxe.com. Check that out. If you are a person that is tired of buying crappy belts that fall apart, check out thesuperbelt.com. We make this stuff out of a space-age material. It's not leather. It's not nylon. It's ridiculously strong. It's waterproof. If you are worried at all about germs and COVID stuff, it is the only belt material that you can actually wash down with pure undiluted bleach and then hang it up in your closet and not worry about it anymore. Leather is absorbent. Nylon is absorbent. They're disgusting materials for belts. So shameless plug for those. I'm working on still setting up a Patreon, but if you want to go buy a belt, that's going to benefit me and my family as well. Lets me keep making YouTube videos. I want to show this off again. It's Awesome Dads, Roll Dice, and Slay Monsters. I love this shirt. I got it for Father's Day. Share something in the comments, like, subscribe, jump onto the Discord, and talk about your Tolus game. It is a Tolus-only Discord, so if you don't want to talk about Tolus, then that's not the right Discord for you. Most importantly, thank you for watching. Go be vulnerable. Go tell your story together. Go do something cool. Everybody have an awesome day.